Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Dialed PRÜF bow sight. I've had this sight for a few months now and really gotten to tinker with it and test it out, run it through its paces. So I thought I'd just go over what I like about it, what I don't like about it, just to give you some information on whether or not you should buy one. Some things I really like about the Pruf compared to other sights. It has two sight tapes. It's really kind of a nice touch to be able to have two different arrow setups for the same bow if you want. Like if you had an antelope setup and an elk setup, you could have those set up on the same bow. And then each sight tape has its own indicator pins, which there's 3 on the left and there's 1 on the right. I wish there was 3 on both sides, but the thing that I heard about UltraView sights that made me want the dialed sight more is that their pins weren't very bright. A lot of people had to use artificial light to be able to see their pins. In Wyoming, you can't do that, so that kind of ruled out the UltraView for me. That is not the case with the Dialed PRÜF. Their pins are crystal clear. They're bright. I ended up getting the triple stack. The only thing that I kind of don't like about that is you're set to those 3 distances on that. You can't adjust any of those pins. So it could end up being like you could have a 30, a 45, and a 60, which is kind of a large pin gap, instead of being able to adjust that from your top pin being 30, 40, 50. That's not a deal breaker, but it is kind of a drawback when you're hunting. They do have different housings for them. At least you have the option to switch out the housing. This is my first vertical pin sight, and it took a little bit getting used to, but overall I really like it. It is a much clearer sight picture. You can really focus on what you're aiming at rather than having the pins come across and kind of cloud up that sight picture. One of the biggest improvements that they made on the Pruf as to the Arxos is that they labeled and made all the axis adjustments, your first, second, and third, very visible and very easy to get to. Whereas on a lot of sites, you kind of just have to guess what you're messing with at some points. As for the build quality, it seems to be on par for its price point. You kind of get what you pay for, it feels like. And I haven't had a chance to take it in the mountains yet, really, but as of right now, it just seems like one of the best built bow sights I've ever used. Another thing that kind of makes the Pruf stand out compared to any other bow sight, you get to pretty much customize any part of the bow sight. You get to change any color that you want, which is cool. You can make it fit your bow, your build, and then you can adjust any of your sight housing that you want, any mount that you want. It's very modular, and if you decide you want a different mount later, you can attach that. You don't have to buy a completely new one, or if you want a different housing, you can change that too. So that's really cool that you're able to do that. A lot of other bow sights don't offer that, but Dialed just kind of takes it a step further and makes it as customizable as possible. One thing that makes the premium or pricey bow sights, I would say, stand out from your budget-friendly bow sights would be the adjustments, like the wind adjustment. Being able to micro adjust that tiny little bit really does make a difference, instead of tweaking it with an Allen wrench and then trying to slowly just tweak it over. You end up going too far or just completely losing your spot a lot of times. The Pruf is really nice in that way. You just unlock the sight, give it a couple clicks one way or the other, then you're good to go. And it makes it really nice for when you're really sighting in at longer distances. Is the Dialed PRÜF worth it? I'll start off by saying that it's the greatest bow sight that I've ever used. Not saying that it's the greatest bow sight ever, but it definitely is up there. Everything works the way that it should. The build quality is great. There's a lot of great bow sights out there, like the UltraViews, the Spot Hogs, the Black Golds. They all make good bow sights. You got to kind of just find the one that checks all your boxes. And if the dialed is out of your budget, then it doesn't check that box. You can find another great option in the other bow companies. A lot of them make great sights. But for me, I plan on using this bow sight long term. So to me, it's worth it, even though that is a steep price to pay for a bow sight. I came from this black gold here, and I loved it. It was great. But after switching from it to the dialed, there's really no comparison between the two. Granted, this one is like $200 cheaper, so that kind of makes sense. I know that black gold makes a higher end sight that's all adjustable that would probably be right on par with the dialed. But for me right now, the dialed is my favorite sight, and it's probably going to be what I use for a lot of years going forward. Whether it's worth it to you or not really comes down to your preference and what you're coming from, what you're going for. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think they did a really good job with this sight. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it, maybe learned something. Yeah, so if you get a chance, go check it out and leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.